Hi, I'm Anton. I am the chief adult book buyer at Politics and Prose.
And I'm Lissa Muscatine. I'm one of the co-owners of Politics and Prose, and I'm really happy to be here with Anton. It's especially great, Anton, to be with you because all of us at PNP are still kind of mourning the passing of our previous adult book buyer, Mark Laframboise, who very sadly passed away in September. And we at Politics and Prose were incredibly lucky that we had somebody right on staff who's been here for a number of years, has done almost every job in the store brilliantly, and was ready to assume this position that is so hard, and be our new chief buyer. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
The best part about this job is to be able to put books in people's hands, which in December, as people shop for the holidays, is a big chunk of what we do, because people ask for present ideas. So I think it's really great that something you've read and liked, you can just go like, please, this is what you want. So the first one is a no-brainer. This is my favorite book of the year. It's called You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Kweke Emezi. They are an incredible author and also visual artist. So this is a very vibrant book. It's very sensual. It's their take on the romance novel, although it is not a rom-com. It's more about like desire and longing and sometimes relationships that are not very accepted. And so this is incredible, like book to give to anyone who wants like a very gorgeous, gorgeous book. My second one is While Things Are Happening, The Art of Maurice Sendak, which is the most comprehensive overview of his work. This is not for children because some of these of his paintings and drawings are definitely not for kids. So just a note, if you're buying this, not for children, but it is a beautiful, beautiful book. There's a lot of illustrations. And my third book, it's a little bit out there, and it's called Everything I Need, I Get From You. This is a great stocking stuffer. It is about how fangirls created the internet culture. So a lot of stan culture is basically stemming from earlier, mostly One Direction fans. But this is not a book about One Direction. So this is just in general, like how a lot of what we take for granted, sort of on our internet communication, was actually created by fangirls. And she's basically talking about how fangirl can be very like demeaning term, but it is.
That's what I was
But
thinking.
she's but she is taking it sort of back and saying like, no, no, these girls and women were like
Influencers.
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
earlier form, and it is a great read. Sort of like social media culture, pop culture person would love it, and it's a paperback original, which means it's quite affordable, and you can just stick it into
And
someone's.
small enough to
Yeah,
go in a stock.
exactly, exactly. Great stuff.
So, okay, I just want to say my tastes are not nearly as refined as Anton's. Anton is probably, honestly, the best read person in the store. I mean, nobody, maybe there are one or two close competitors, but you're right up there. I think you're at the top. I stagger behind. However, I have varied tastes, so I had a hard time coming up with, what are truly my favorite books of the year. My really truly favorite book though is Lost and Found by Catherine Schultz, a great New Yorker writer. And this book it really looks at the etymology and the meaning behind each of these: lost, found, and the ampersand that connects the two. And she draws from her own life to talk about lost and found. And starts with the death of her father, which is a tremendous moment of grief in her life that she isn't sure she'll recover from. And however, it engenders a whole new phase of her life where she finds the love of her life.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the falling in love part of this book with her now wife, who's also a New Yorker writer, Casey Sepp, is it's just one of the most beautifully told love stories I've ever read. I just love this book. She's such an exquisite writer, and it's just a beautiful story from start to finish. So that's my very favorite. The Invisible Kingdom by Megan O'Rourke. It's called Reimagining Chronic Illness. She suffered from a very mysterious autoimmune disorder in her 20s, and she's a writer and a poet and a critic. So she's a writer. She's a great writer, and she has just gone through years of uncertainty and searches for answers. And her point is that she's not alone. There are tens of millions of people with autoimmune disorders that the medical and scientific community has just ignored because they're complex. They cross medical boundaries, And of course, because she's a woman, she is perceived to be hysterical or emotional or depressed, and that's really what's her causing her problems. And it's just a very deep book, very, very deep. And I think anybody who knows someone with a chronic illness or themselves has a chronic illness, it's an amazing book. I love mysteries. So quickly, The Love of My Life. This is a really great British mystery. Just came out. Rosie Walsh. As I was saying earlier to Anton, it's like the writer. You just want to stop reading because you're like, I know you are messing with me, and you're turning me into knots, and you're messing with me, and I'm kind of irritated with you for doing that. But you can't put the book down. So it's great. It is a really good book, and it's really about another sort of true love story. But I think my other really perfect for this season is Taylor Jenkins Reid. Have you read Taylor Jenkins Reid's earlier books?
I actually have not, which is funny.
I've read some books that Anton has not read.
Oh my God!
Unbelievable!
Yes.
I want witnesses.
Okay, yeah. Public record. I have not read her.
She's great. I've read a couple of her previous books, which I really liked. This is about tennis. I'm a huge tennis player, tennis fan. Was once a tennis reporter at the Washington Post, believe it or not. And so I was dubious. I'm like, there's no way this, author who lives in LA is going to capture this sport. Oh my God, does she? It's so fun. It's great. It's just very, and she's got a light touch. It's very interesting. So I think I wrote in my staff pick, it's not too heavy. It's not too light. Right. There are deeper meanings, but you can just totally read it and enjoy it. Great at Christmas. Great when we're, thinking about various political.
You heard it from a tennis fan. This is a great tennis book.
Yes,
it's really great. It's really good.
Now I'm going to get all these criticisms like, well, you don't really know what but anyway, it's worth it. Put it out there. So those are my quick 3 because we were forced to only pick 3. So I just think we should remind people why it is very important to shop early. And Anton, you can probably explain that better than anybody.
Yeah, shop early, shop often, shop local. That's more important because December is the most important month for small businesses, and it can really make or break a store. And so it is very crucial that you shop local because that way the most amount of what you spend goes back sort of into local economy. So that is always my pitch for that. That's another good reason to shop at your local bookstore because you can come in and you can ask any of the booksellers for recommendations. And like we have these books that we sort of recommended, and we have our holiday newsletter that's a list of really good gifts. But if nothing works for you and you are not sure, just ask a bookseller. They have many more books inside their head that they can give you, and so it can be a very fun experience. Especially if you're just completely blanking, but you have these like family members who you don't really know, or you're not sure what to get. Just ask us. We love doing this kind of thing. We love putting some books into your hands and going, this is a stack, look through it, go for it.
So Anton, here's a tough one for you. Somebody comes in the store and they're getting a gift for their favorite relative, and that favorite relative, they say, has read every single book in the store, all 35,000 titles. There's nothing they have not read. What do you recommend as a gift for this person?
That's relative is not me. No. We do have a membership program, actually. It is a paid membership, and right now we are raising the rates, unfortunately, in January for the first time in 10 years. But it basically allows us to support our programming because we do have events in store, and all our events in store are free and open to the public. We don't even ask you to buy books. So it's basically like a subscription to all our events that we have daily. And we also have classes. That is another part of our programming, and you get a discount on those. And then you sort of do a frequent buyer program where you get points for what you spend, both for books and non-books. And then there's also member sales. We just had one, which is why the store is kind of looking a little sparse. But it's 4 times a year, and you just get 20% off on everything. And it's sort of a wonderful way to just come and do all your shopping at once. So that's I think it's a great gift.